Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Judiciary Committee hearing for this Thursday. My name is Carl Rhodes. I'm the chair of the committee. The agenda is this Zoom meeting and YouTube live stream event will include the following agendas: our 10 o'clock agenda for three resolutions, and our 10:05 agenda for 2 House bills. Other than me, the members of the committee are Senator Vice Chair Keoka Lole, who's excused today, Senator Laura Ocasio, Senator Mike Gabbard, Senator Chris Lee, Senator Donna Mercado Kim, and Senator Kurt Vivella. This meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube. You'll find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Monday, March 29 at 10 a.m. and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. For the people testifying remotely, all testifier audio will be muted and video disabled until it's your turn to testify. There's a 2-minute time limit per testifier. If there are temporary technical glitches during your turn to testify, we may have to move on to the next person due to time constraints. We appreciate your understanding and remind you that the committee has already received your written testimony, and we will try to come back to you if it looks like your technical problems have been fixed. I'll be reading a list of people who submitted written testimony for each measure. We apologize that the closed captioning doesn't accurately transcribe the names. If you're interested in reviewing the written testimony, please go to the legislature's website, www.capitalwithano.hawaii.gov, and you'll find a link to testimony on the status page for the measure or measures you're interested in. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. First up today is SCR 170. This requests the judiciary to consider written statements from victims or families of victims when approving a plea bargain. First up on SCR 170 is Dara Carlin in support, Teresa Paulette for Mothers Against Drunk Driving in support, Melissa Iris Lau in support, and Michelle Lee Markham in support. And it doesn't look like any of them are planning to be here today. So we have no one to ask questions of, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next resos. This is SCR 261 and SR 220, requesting the Attorney General to petition the Hawaii Supreme Court seeking relief to prevent action against the Reapportionment Commission for the Commission's failure to meet statutory or constitutional deadlines relating to the 2021 reapportionment plans. First up on SCR 261 is Scott Nago for the Office of Election and the Chief Election Officer.
Thank you. The Office of Elections will stand on its written testimony in support and be happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you. Next is Sandy Ma, Common Cause.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. Sandy Ma for Common Cause Hawaii. We stand on our written comments. Given that the U.S. Census Bureau will not be providing data for some time, this measure appears necessary. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then we also have Lemomi Khan in support. For SR 220, same testifiers with the exception of Gerard Silva, who's in opposition. Mr. Nago or Ms. Ma, did you wish to speak on the SR?
No, I did not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that's it for the testifiers. Members, any questions on these two? Let me double check. So Mr. Nago, so this reso is really aimed at the Reapportionment Commission, but are there any mandated deadlines for action to be taken by your office for the 2022 election that you would be unable to perform if the census releases the information the data when they are planning to?
So it just depends on when we actually get the data. If we plan to open up candidate filing starting February 1st, we would have to have the lines in the district drawn so that candidates can file for the proper seats, and we know that they reside in the proper district. The other deadline that may be impacted depending on when the plan is filed is we have to file we have to issue a election proclamation by May 28th. The reason why we need the plan in place is because the proclamation needs to contain the terms of offices, and the Reapportionment Commission would determine the 2-year, 4-year for Senate seats.
But if there was a problem, you have the authority to, well, you've done it recently, right? With that Senate seat last year, you filed, or the Attorney General filed on your behalf to straighten that out, correct?
Correct.
And you have the authority to deal with this if you needed to.
Yeah. So the reason why we're supporting this resolution is we just don't want there to be any unnecessarily somebody challenging the resolution or challenging the reapportionment plan because didn't meet the 150 days deadline, and it could further delay the election. So if we can take that off the table, we would support that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, members, any other questions? If not, thank you, thank you, testifiers, for being here. And let's see. Well, that's the end of this agenda. Let's go ahead and I'll just recess this agenda, and we'll come back and vote on all 4 of them at the same time. And we'll move on to the 10:05 agenda. On this agenda, hang on a second, I'm going to have to mess with the testifier list here for a moment. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, here we go. Okay, so first up on the 10:05 agenda is HB 352, clarifies that the secondhand dealer's law applies to a secondhand dealer's operation of an automatic recycling kiosk that only accepts handheld electronic devices for recycling. First up on 352 is Jonathan Spiker, Esquire, for Hawaii Pawnbrokers Association.
Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning, Chair Rhodes and committee members. I'll be brief. On behalf of the Hawaii Pawnbrokers Association, we respectfully oppose this bill and ask that you do not pass it for the following reasons. Basically, this bill seeks to apply.
I'm sorry. I realize that this is not a hearing. This is a DM. So we have your written testimony, and we don't offer the opportunity to testify in person. So sure. I apologize for cutting you off, but we do have your written testimony. We have read it.
Thank you, Chair.
My apologies, members. I'm just used to hearing things. So I guess we're ready to go to DM. Does anyone feel the need to go into a breakout room to talk about any of these bills or resos? Okay, seeing nobody who seems to be terribly concerned, let's go ahead and Senator Keo'ololi is not going to be here today. Senator Casa, you mind taking the votes for us today? Okay. First up is SCR 170. This requests the judiciary to consider written statements from victims of or families of victims when approving a plea bargain. Recommendation here is to pass unamended. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio for the vote, and we'll take care of all the paperwork. Just yeah.
Okay, passing upon Chair's recommendation, SCR 170 with amendments.
No, unamended.
Unamended. Chair.
Aye.
Vice Chair is excused. I go aye. Senator Gabbard.
Aye.
Senator Kim.
Aye.
Senator Lee.
Aye.
Your measure passes.
So there's still another Senator Favela.
Oh, I'm sorry. Senator Favela is
excused. It looks like, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, members. Next up, we have SCR 261 and SR 220 that we'll vote on together. This requests the Attorney General to petition the Hawaii Supreme Court seeking relief to prevent actions against the Reapportionment Commission for the Commission's failure to meet statutory or constitutional deadlines relating to the 2021 reapportionment plans. Recommendation here is to pass with a couple of amendments. We'll delete the state, Senate, and House leadership as recipients, as they should be able to figure that out on their own, and there'll be technical amendments as well. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay. Noting the excused absence of Senator Favela and also Senator Keo'ololi, we pass SCR 261, SR 220 with amendments as well as technical amendments. Any reservations? And any opposition? Okay, your measure passes, Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the 10:05 agenda. First up on that is, this is a decision-making only agenda. First up is HB 352. HB 352 clarifies that the secondhand dealer's law applies to a secondhand dealer's operation of an automated recycling kiosk that only accepts handheld electronic devices for recycling, specifies the retention requirements for secondhand dealers that operate an automated recycling kiosk. Recommendation here is to pass unamended. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Casio.
Okay, the recommendation from the chair is to pass HB 352 HD1 SD1 unamended, noting the excused absence of Senator Keohokalole and Senator Favela. Is there any opposition or reservations? And noting none, your measure passes.
Thank you very much. Finally, we have HB 416. This prohibits specified trolleys with swivels, pulleys, cables, or running lines designed to attach a dog to two stationary objects in a configuration that endangers the dog, including by depriving the dog of sustenance. Prohibits tethering or restraining a dog under the age of 6 months unless the dog is engaged in an activity supervised by its owner or an agent of its owner. Prohibits tethering or restraining a dog with a tow or log chain. Prohibits tethering or restraining a dog with a choke collar, pinch collar, or prong collar unless the dog is engaged in an activity supervised by its owner or an agent of its owner. Recommendation on 416 HD2 SD1 is to pass with technical amendments only. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Casio.
Okay, Chair. Chair's recommendation is to pass HB 416 HD2 SD1 with technical amendments, noting the excused absence of Senator Favela and Senator Keohokalole. Are there any reservations? And any opposition? Okay, seeing none, your chair, your amendment, your bill passes.
Thank you very much, members. Have a good long weekend. We'll have hearings on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday next week. So enjoy your 3 days off.
Yep.
Thank you very much. We're adjourned.